Everything must change. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young becomes the old, and mysteries do unfold, 'cause that's the way of time. Nothing and no one goes unchanged. There are not many things in life you can be sure of. Except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring, a wounded heart will heal. Oh yeah, it will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything and everyone will change. There are not many things in life you can be sure of. Oh, no, no, no. Flap their wings and go bye-bye. Oh, fly. Rain comes from the clouds, and sunlight of the sky. And hummingbirds, they do fly. Rain comes from the clouds, sunlight of the sky. Hummingbirds, they do fly, but everything must change. Nothing stays the same.
I won't bore you with a discussion of automotive purchasing trends. All you need to know is that subcompact luxury SUVs are hot. That's with 2 T's. Maybe add an exclamation point or 3. You get the gist. Tiny luxury SUVs are all the rage, and now Lexus has one called the UX. That stands for Urban Crossover. It operates in a segment that includes the Audi Q3, Mercedes-Benz GLA, Volvo XC40, Cadillac XT4, and a bunch of others. Built from the same TNGA platform that underpins the Toyota CHR, the UX shares the CHR's 103.9-inch wheelbase. But to be clear, the UX is not simply a Lexusized CHR. It's lower, wider, and nearly 6 inches longer. course, those dimensions have implications for interior space. With the subcompact Toyota CHR as our yardstick, overall legroom is essentially the same, but a lower roof naturally means less headroom. The actual numbers depend on whether or not you have a sunroof or the F-Sport seats, but in our tester at 5'10", I fit with more than adequate clearance. Hard cut to the back seats and my knees barely clear. There's good headroom, but just like the CHR, the rear quarters of the Lexus UX create a sense of visual claustrophobia. We did a really good job with that shot, Mike. Okay, it's not quite as claustrophobic feeling as the CHR. Nothing is as claustrophobic as the CHR. For a stronger sensation of roominess, along with actual roominess, the Volvo XC40 or Cadillac XT4 are better choices. I'll also mention that it might have been neat if the rear seats reclined, and the armrests are covered in soft material, but they're unpadded, invoking a sad squirrel on the Mike Amuzio Elbow Comfort Index. Depending on audience reaction, I might have to make that index a real thing. On a brighter note, the center rear seat is usable for short journeys, the fold-down center armrest is satisfyingly squishy, and passengers are treated to rear vents plus 2 USB ports. Open the power tailgate, and you'll find 21.7 cubic feet to fill, a more than respectable number for the segment. For an even larger, not quite flat load floor, just lower the seat backs. You'll probably have to drop the headrest to do so, but they flip forward conveniently, just like in the Corolla hatchback. Before departing the interior, let's bust out some rapid-fire observations. There's an analog clock, for the millennials. Volume and tune inputs for the audio system are made with these weird rollers and buttons instead of knobs. The front seat armrests are well padded. Center console storage is accessed through a two-way cover, just like other Lexuses. The glove compartment has a 2-level divider. This extending sun visor is failing at its job. The overall interior motif looks modern and premium, a sense confirmed when you touch the soft bits, and contradicted when you scratch hard plastics. And lastly, look, a CD player. For the millennials. In powertrain land, there are 2 choices. First is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine teamed with a continuously variable transmission in the UX200. CVTs have a bad rep among car reviewers, but the UX uses the same launch gear technology as the CVT in the Corolla hatchback. And honestly, I like that CVT. Funny how all those Corolla bits in a Lexus are a good thing. Bottom line, choose the UX200 and you probably won't hate how it drives. Plus, it's quite efficient. Engine option 2 is an all-wheel drive hybrid powertrain found in the $2,000 pricier UX250H, and it's an interesting one. In front, there's a 4-cylinder engine teamed with a pair of electric motor generators. In back, a third motor drives the rear wheels, enabling all-wheel drive traction at speeds up to 43 miles per hour. The system's nickel-metal hydride battery is conveniently hidden beneath the rear seats. With electric torque and 181 total system horsepower, the 250H feels plenty gutsy around town. In fact, it's a few ticks quicker from 0 to 60 than the non-hybrid UX. 8.5 seconds to 60 isn't blazing fast, but it's fine for urban exploring. The hybrid's smooth power delivery when accelerating is contrasted by maddeningly sensitive brakes. When slowing, not only does the brake pedal feel unnatural, but making small, smooth adjustments to pressure is almost impossible. I'm not one to blame equipment, but coming to a seamless stop is really more luck than skill. If the brakes in the 250H don't drive you nutty, outstanding fuel economy will be your reward. The UX Hybrid also offers an EV drive mode for short all-electric stints, though I'm struggling to find a practical use case. Be sure to scour the comment section for suggestions. At higher speeds, say on the freeway, bumps are managed with dignity and interior noise is subdued, though I have noticed a tendency for the UX to wander on straight stretches, necessitating frequent steering corrections. That aside, I like how the UX drives, including around corners. When negotiating bends, the littlest of Lexi has a stable, steady feel. Oh, God, that was a big hit. That's not the car's fault, that was my fault. All of that's supported by smooth steering with just the right heft. Gonna need a moment. There are sportier SUVs, but the Lexus UX wins with a generally confident demeanor. On that note, driver visibility is good in most directions, but a thick B-pillar partially blocks the driver's view left. It's a convenient segue into safety, where Lexus Safety System Plus 2.0 comes standard across the board. That comprehensive suite of driver assist technologies features full-speed dynamic cruise control, pre-collision warning with automatic braking and pedestrian detection, intelligent high beams, road sign detection, and lane departure warning featuring steering assist that intervenes in refined fashion. In cheapest rendition, a base UX 200 has an MSRP right about $33,000, including destination charges. That price includes 18-inch wheels, LED headlights, Apple CarPlay but not Android Auto smartphone integration, 3 drive modes to tailor your UX driving experience, and a 7-inch infotainment display, though our test car's 10.25-inch screen is definitely the better choice. Control of that screen occurs through this Lexus Remote Touch interface. It allows zoom gestures and swiping and tapping. It has haptic feedback, and it even recognizes handwriting. If you go down here and change type and go to handwriting, you can do, let's see. Yeah, there we go. To recognize my name. What fun. The thing is, all of those moves and those screen layouts take a little time to really learn. So I recommend doing that when you're not driving. Heads up, if you're my height, the gear shifter will block your view of the remote touch interface when driving. But honestly, you should be watching the road instead. If your budget allows, premium features are available, like a foot-activated tailgate, heated and ventilated front seats, and an F-Sport package that elevates the UX's style and handling prowess while adding 0% more power. Versus foes like the BMW X1, Mercedes-Benz GLA, Cadillac XT4, and Volvo XC40, the Lexus UX is competitively priced. On top of that, the UX boasts the Lexus brand's acclaimed reliability and resale values, drives wonderfully, aside from those darn hybrid brakes, and it looks properly daring in keeping with Lexus's modern design direction. Note the expectedly huge grille and the full-width rear light consisting of 120 LEDs. Neat. Ultimately, there are roomier and sportier choices, but the Lexus UX succeeds at being the Lexus of subcompact SUVs. And honestly, that's all it needs to be to sell like hotcakes. That's better.
With nearly 70% of all Lexus sales here in America being a crossover, it makes sense for the company to introduce another addition to their already impressive crossover lineup. What you're seeing parked right next to me is the brand spanking new 2019 Lexus UX 200 F-Sport. It's now smaller than the Lexus NX, designed to go head-to-head with the very top-selling BMW X1, Mercedes GLA, and Audi Q3. Now, it already has the typical distinctive Lexus design language, but does it deliver the entire package to go toe-to-toe with the best from Europe? That's what we're here to find out. although the larger Lexus RX represents the top-selling luxury vehicle here in America, they were surprisingly a little bit late to the crossover game in introducing smaller versions. The NX first came out to America about 2 years ago, and now we're seeing an even smaller version. And honestly, the NX was already a pretty small crossover. This is smaller by about 5.5 inches in total. But let's first talk about the actual design of the UX. It has that typical Lexus look with the very large spindle grille with that kind of Predator front end. This one being the F Sport model has its own unique front fascia with the intricate L's that form like this little mesh finish. You have the radar sensor hiding behind that Lexus emblem, and then LED headlights are standard with an LED running light. Unfortunately, it's not a full LED. The turn signal is just incandescent, but this F Sport model gives you an LED fog light here in addition to a little bit more of that dark satin chrome tint on the overall fascia. I think the look of the UX is definitely distinctive. It gives the car a rather aggressive look that's kind of absent from the segment. And I think it'll help the car stand out, especially when you look at the front end design. So the diminutive footprint of the UX is very apparent when you look at the actual side profile. This is a very small car, about 177 inches long. It's 5.5 inches smaller than a Lexus NX, which is their previous small crossover. But let's first talk about the actual wheels. 18-inch wheels are standard across the board. This F Sport model gives you these unique 18-inch graphite finish wheel wrapped in 225/50 series tires. Now the UX actually does come with run flat tires, so there's no spare in the back. Lexus says the run flat tires are a next generation. They're capable of allowing you to drive up to 100 miles, up to 50 miles per hour in case you guys ever get a flat. Now in typical crossover fashion, you do have this gray cladding here to kind of give this more of a rugged look. It's honestly not very high off the ground. It feels more like a hot hatch or a hatchback as opposed to an SUV. Now its wheelbase at 103.8 inches long is about an inch shorter than the Lexus NX. Now unlike that vehicle, this is riding on a completely different platform. This is the Global Architectural Compact platform, which is kind of a evolution of the TNGA platform that's kind of been made stiffer. And really from the side profile, I think it actually has a really good look to it. You're going to notice the windows in the back actually aren't tinted. My guess is because the EPA doesn't really classify this as a crossover. It's maybe not high enough, but it does have a rather handsome look when you look at it from the side profile. So at the rear of the new Lexus UX, you can see the design is also equally distinctive, and it's introducing a couple of new design languages here for Lexus. Now obviously the back window is not fully tinted, just like the rear windows and the LED taillights here. You can see it's actually a full width LED. Lexus says there are 120 LEDs total, and right here it gets to like 0.8 inches of thickness for its LED. It's a very distinctive look, especially when you look at this car at night, and I also like the fact that it's a full LED. Now, this is the UX 200, this is the gas model. There's also a UX 250H, which is a hybrid version. That's a different review. There's an F Sport badge to kind of show off that this is the sportier version, and then you have more of the gray cladding under here. Now, you're also probably noticing for a sportier looking vehicle, there's no actual exposed exhaust tip, and of course, it's a naturally aspirated four-cylinder. It doesn't really sound much. It actually comes out of the new Corolla hatchback. We'll go into the driving dynamics later on. Now, unlike a lot of the competition, this car actually does come with a full power liftgate with an actual like hands-free kick function, which is really nice, and the cargo capacity. This is actually a bigger cargo area than the Lexus NX. It's rated at 21.5 cubic feet of space, which is about 5 cubic feet more than what you get in the NX with the rear seats up. The hybrid version shrinks it to about 17 cubic feet, which is the same as the Lexus NX. Lexus didn't have full interior specs when you fold down the rear seats, but if you fold them down, it looks like it roughly doubles the space. It's a little bit less than what you get in like a BMW X1, which is to me the segment leader at around 58 cubic feet of space. So the inside of any luxury crossover is another important aspect. So let's move on to the interior of the new Lexus UX. You can see here's the current Lexus key fob that I've shown you guys before. It's the Intelligent Access key. It does come standard on the UX, even though this is their entry-level model. Now, as you approach the door handle of the UX, you're going to see there's a little area here where if you touch your finger there, it locks the doors, and then the mirrors will electrically fold. You can turn that setting on and off. To unlock it, just touch the back of the handle like other Lexus models, and that will unlock the door for you. Now, my tester has a specific interior color combination that is unique to the F Sport model. The ultrasonic blue 2.0 is unique, and this circuit red leather, which honestly it looks just like the leather that you find in some of the more expensive actual full-on F model Lexus vehicles. You can see the F Sport model gives you these deeply bolstered seats, the sport seats with the black accents, the nice piping. It's a heated and cooled seat, which is really nice. You also have a heated steering wheel, and you have 3-person memory. So even though this car is the entry-level SUV, it's the least expensive new Lexus you can buy, it has an interior that will really surprise you. So Lexus has done a really good job with upholding their reputation for luxury and quality. Now, stepping into the inside of the all-new UX, you can see it doesn't really feel all that high up when you first get into this vehicle. It actually just feels like I'm stepping into a small hatchback that's been maybe ever so slightly raised up. Now, let's shut the door. This is a new vehicle here. And it actually sounds a little bit on the tinnier side. I expected a more solid, heavy sounding door, but that's okay. This interior really will wow you when you first get into this vehicle. Now, push button start, as I said, is standard. Put your foot on the brake, push the button here to fire up the engine like other Lexus products. Now you can see the F Sport model gives you its own unique set of gauges. You guys have seen these gauges before. You can see it does a nice little cool graphical show when the vehicle starts up. That gauge pod you can see also moves. It's the same gauge pod that we've seen on so many Lexus products for years. It's a really cool gauge, but I think Lexus needs to increase the size of the screen. If you push this button here, you can see you can make the screen move forward and back or side to side, and then if you switch the drive mode here to sport, it'll go into a sport mode there where it'll change the tack to a white. This does not have Sport Plus like some other vehicles. Go down here, it'll go to Eco, push it in for neutral. Again, it changes based on whatever driving mode you're in. There's the optional 10.3-inch LCD display. This is part of the remote touch interface, of course. It's a nice, beautifully rendered display. You can also see it's got Apple CarPlay. This is the second Lexus model to include Apple CarPlay. Still no Android Auto, unfortunately, but it does have Amazon Alexa. When you guys do have Apple CarPlay, you can see if you have the newest version, it also has Waze. Lexus says they don't do Android Auto yet because their research shows that 80% of Lexus customers have an Apple product. So let me know in the comments below if you guys own a Lexus and if you guys have an Apple product or if you have an Android product. I'm curious to know about that. You have this aluminum style washi Japanese paper look aluminum trim, which is nice. You have some real stitching here where it's soft padded on this dashboard here. It is also soft touch right there, although it's not actually stitched. Over here you can see this
Boom.